What's up, everybody? It's the 30s perspective. Woo, 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 woo. Shots fired. Boom, 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 boom.
Hey.
All right, so y'all, we got some topics for that behind. All right, so let's.
Been a week.
It's been a crazy month, you know.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy month. So I say let's start off with Leash, you had a topic for us that you threw at us. Let's start with your topic. Let us know what it's about. For those who did not watch the video, let us know what it's about and we'll go forward with that. Each person gets up to 2 minutes to respond after you explain.
Which one? Because I sent two.
You said two. Give me both consecutively. Give me whatever one you want to start with.
Okay, so the first one that I gave. Hold on, y'all. I was not prepared. I wasn't. So that was yours.
I remember one of them was the Mary J. Blige post, right?
Oh, it was talking about. Hold on. Because I can't.
Well, while you're looking for that, how's school going?
Oh, yo, school's going great.
And while you looking for that, I didn't introduce everybody. We got Tokay Digital in the room. We got B Mike with the new sound system set up.
Hey man, gotta keep moving forward.
We got Lady Leash, who's about to give us some hot fire topics. And I'm Sherelle Unique, y'all. We got a couple microphones set up. B Mike got the official setup over there.
I know he's all official and stuff. You making me feel.
Yeah, man, got the lighting and all the things.
He making me feel away, like, but it's all right.
Hey, I'm trying to lead the way. I'm trying to have y'all come up
to where you are.
Yeah, you gotta have the ambiance.
All right,
so I found lighting from the back lighting and the front lighting and everything.
All right, we believe in you.
We believe in B Mike. All right, so I found it. So this was a post about Mary J. Blige. She has said that she never met a faithful man. She never seen a relationship when a man did not cheat. So the question that was asked is, how many women can relate? And even if you knew a man that was faithful, would you say that they are rare?
Okay, so Alicia, you could start. I'm gonna hit the start button. 2 minutes.
Personally, I don't agree with this statement. I know she's going through a rough time right now with her divorce and everything like that. So, but what I can say is that men do cheat, so do females. So, but to say that you've never seen a faithful man, I don't necessarily know if I believe that 100%. I don't believe it.
I mean, of course not. Sherman Klump was very faithful. He was.
B Mike, what you think about it?
B Mike.
So here's what I think about this. I've seen both. So you've seen the very faithful men and women, like full on dedicated, even in situations where they shouldn't be. And then you see both men and women, both are unfaithful or being true to themselves, whatever you want to call it. And I think part of the bigger issue when we come to the stereotype of men are always cheating, I think women do it better. I think that they just do it. Wait, so they're doing it, and then women have this thing about what doesn't count. Y'all have this thing about that don't. There's a whole list of things that don't count, even though most people would count that as all right. Kind of just shit. That don't count. So I think they do it better, and they have things that don't count.
That's it.
I mean, hey,
I'm curious to
giving
hear what
props to
those
y'all.
things that you feel that don't count. What are those?
I know what I feel that don't count. No, I don't know. That don't count. That was just head. Or
What do you have in mind though when you say that?
I say that don't count.
Yeah, that women have things that we think don't count.
Okay.
What are you thinking of?
Okay, so I'm all right. Not necessarily my interpretation. I'm going off of what's been told to me as to that's just head. That don't count.
All right.
I ain't never heard a man be like, "I'm out girls gave some head." That don't count. I've never heard that from a guy, but I've heard that from women saying, "Hey, that don't count." Like or that was vacation. That don't count.
10 seconds. Anything else you want to say about it?
No, that's it. Hey, y'all wanted me to elaborate. I feel y'all just do it better overall.
All
in terms
right.
of not getting caught and not being, or the reasoning. Oh, I did this because in reaction to or in retaliation of, so it's not as bad.
Okay. It's okay. What you think about that?
I mean, I don't know. People cheat on both sides. The whole women do it better. Women are sneakier. They are more treacherous, if you will. But honestly, it gets to the point where dudes don't care no more either, though. So they go cheat in front of your face then. See, y'all still try to hide it in a lot of ways. A lot of dudes I know just don't give a shit no more. So
no more. Some of them don't give a shit in the beginning.
Right. So where y'all feelings get hurt because y'all try to be sneaky and then get caught or all this. Man, like, you know what? Screw your feelings then. Because you want to be sneakier, then I'm gonna just hit you with it from the jump. So, I mean, I can't say that all people cheat. I can't say that it's a definite one side or the other, but the game is messed up to begin with. So if you're gonna play the game, be prepared for it. But if you're looking for fidelity and you really want that, look in other places too. Get out of your comfort zone. You got to get something that you're not used to either.
All right. I think that both genders cheat. That's what I think. I do believe her when she says she hasn't met a man that has never cheated. I do think that there are some people in the world who could say that about either sex, depending on how they grew up. But I do think it is rare, especially nowadays, and I don't know if it's because of culture and media and whatever, to find individuals who don't cheat at all in any way, shape, or form. I wish it was like I feel like we have to actually go and seek out healthy relationships. It's not like right there in front of your face. Like, I would want it to be. But then I think there's things that are far worse than just cheating that could go on. Sometimes
do tell.
Sometimes cheating is light in comparison to some of the stuff that be going on.
That's right, because it was just head. It don't count.
And I mean, depending on who you getting the head from.
You see what they do? See?
Yeah.
It don't count though.
And I mean, it don't count.
I was receiving head.
You can ask them if it counts.
I was receiving the head. That don't.
Right. So that's what I think.
I fell and landed on his face. I don't.
How many of y'all have ever erased just a whole sex partner?
That ain't happening.
They don't count.
Wait, you mean they they don't qualify for the body count?
No, they don't qualify to be on the number, in the number.
Never happened.
Oh, bro, that's not how that works.
That's how that works in my book.
If you ask me, I'm going to deny it.
Right?
Exactly. They got asterisks in their book. Our book is just
that shit don't.
No, you don't.
It happened.
It'd be like, did you sleep with? Nope, never.
You can say that, but we all know that shit.
Right.
I be like, believe what you want to believe, but I said
what I said. No,
Just because it was
right.
whack. Just because it
Right.
was whack. No,
it's
man,
not
it don't
necessarily
count.
that. It could be the action of the person. It doesn't necessarily have to be that it's whack. It could be that the way that the person reacted afterwards, or
It still
Oh,
happened.
because you was whack.
it
Okay.
didn't
Right.
happen. I have a couple people have a race. It never happened.
So
I
take
mean,
your number
look.
+2. Gotcha.
Look, I mean, and it made me think Mary J can't dance either. That little two-step ain't dancing.
Hey, we're not
So
talking
What the
about
fuck's
Mary
a
J. Blige
dancery? Dancery is not
dancing.
even a word.
This is why I'm saying she might
not
have said she
talking
never
about her
met a man who
dancing.
didn't cheat. Listen, no, but she said she never met a man who didn't cheat because she couldn't move right in them sheets. See, she couldn't dance. So it
He made
equates.
it rhyme, so it got to be true.
Right.
Leash, what's your second topic?
There you go.
The second one I had was about the men playing women's sports.
Okay.
Okay.
So share a little about that, Leash.
Oh,
Give us a little
girl,
a
a
little
little.
backstory.
2
Joanna
minutes ain't
Man
long
syndrome.
enough.
What you say?
Ain't long enough. Cause
No, I ain't
put.
give us some backstory so we know what we talk about, and then I'll start the 2 minutes.
So we saw Joanna Man. We know the backstory.
Okay,
This is for the audience.
I don't know her name. I don't know the name of the individual, but they just won the women's sport or the swimming in women's swimming. It won first place. Now she played men's, and it was swimming.
In the men's sport, he was ranked as 558.
It was 462.
Whatever.
Y'all know the numbers?
Yes.
Yep.
Because I was reading it and I was just so mad. So Pennsylvania is looking to pass legislation that whatever sex you were born, you cannot play that of the opposite like sport.
Oh, they made it like official. You cannot cross over.
They're trying to. So it's in legislation. Florida just passed it.
But what about the women who want to play like NFL? Like they want to go to a man's.
No, they're trying to make it even across the board, which I agree.
Okay, so give us your thoughts.
Oh no.
So my thoughts about this is that, you know, as much as I support the LGBTQ plus community, I do support them in the way of wanting them to be them. If that's what you want to be, then by all means be just that. And what I don't agree with is where it becomes an issue for other people. And when I say that, meaning like if you're biologically male and you're playing a woman's sport, regardless of how many hormones or whatever you're playing, you still have an advantage to a woman, regardless. So I don't feel that the playing fields are fair, and I don't think that it's fair for you to be in a woman's sport. Now, you know, this whole inclusive thing that they're trying to make the world to be today, I agree on being inclusive, but there has to be a line drawn at some point somewhere. And I think it becomes a safety issue because I'm sorry, if that man was playing with my daughter, I'd have an issue, period. Because if you hit my daughter, she does not have a size, weight, nothing advantage against you biologically male. And I'm gonna just leave it there. I'm being nice. I'm gonna be technical because I work in this field and I have a reputation to withhold, and I don't ever want anybody to feel like I could never work with them because they are within that community. So I'm going to leave my thoughts as simple as science. These are facts. These are not, you know, my made up opinion, but it's factual. No matter how many hormones, whatever,
2 seconds,
that you're still male.
All right. B Mike, what's your thoughts?
the science is there. Telling me like stronger and taller and bone density and muscle mass. Now there was the idea of pitching, like a separate category of trans sports. That was pitched too, to make it even, because it's not quite even. And okay, not saying that it has happened publicly yet. It's just my mind going. But if you go from being 400 and whatever she said, to number one, there's going to be an incentive for someone who is obsessed with winning to possibly switch gender is not going to be number one versus being 400 and whatever number is. Not saying it has happened yet, but that to me is not cool in terms of the equality of it and everything else. Again, that's the whole concept of Joanna Man, or what was that movie with Johnny Knoxville with the Special Olympics?
Bench warmers.
There we go. Bench warmers?
No, was it bench warmers?
That's not bench warmers. No, whatever the one was, yeah, where he joined the Special Olympics.
Yeah,
join the Special Olympics to have an advantage. People are gonna start doing that. Mm-hmm. If they're just hell bent on just being a champion or whatever. So that type of thing does where the big huge gray area comes into play, and where do you draw a line? And yes, there are some women, that are Miss Trunch Bowls, and they're gonna whoop ass regardless.
In seconds,
but they're not the majority, so there needs to be a line drawn. Because what was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Was that the wrestler that was just whooping ass in the wrestling world? They were trans, and the women are like, "Oh hell no, I ain't never been hit that hard by a woman." And and this trans person comes in, and this is unfair.
It was the UFC.
There was that too.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. All I know is there probably should. Again, this is more, I guess, scientific, physiological, of having a line drawn, of having the same reason why we get rid of steroids. You have steroids because there's an advantage made in that regard. But then I'm kind of torn, because you have situations where what's not Simone Biles. What's the skater, the black skater woman that was doing like backflips on skates, and they like
banned her moves.
They banned her, and then Simone Biles was too, because she was doing something that was just
that they couldn't do,
unheard of.
Yeah,
and they were like, "Well, no, because you're doing stuff that's extra special." And they were like, "We can't do that." So it's like, okay, if someone can do something that someone else can't, how far do you go in terms of banning it? I don't know. That's
okay. Digital 2 minutes.
I mean, to kind of piggyback off a little bit everything. I mean, you got to think with the whole Me Too movement, with the whole, hear them out thing. The problem is that the second you went to voice something, you were homophobic or you were, sexist or whatever. So the conversations that needed to be had weren't had when they needed to happen. Because the second you went to speak up, they shut you down. Oh, you hate us. You don't want us to have the same rights. Now we're here trying to figure out, where does this fit in? So it went so far in the opposite direction because they didn't want to hear that some of the things might have been wrong to begin with. No one wanted to be the adult in the situation. Everybody just wanted to do. And that's what has got us to this cluster where everything that we deal with, in this PC time frame, or in this cancel culture thing, you can't say something without somebody taking offense. But a lot of things need to be said. And I get it. We all come from a profession at one point where we all worked with individuals who come from a bunch of different things, but we have to be honest. And I think that if we continue to bite our tongues and don't give them the reality of the world that they're choosing to walk into in a lot of these ways, because the dude transitioned because he was trash to female, that was a choice. These choices have consequences. So where you thought that it was going to work out for you, now it's not. Are we going to see people transition back over? And then is that going to put a stigma on it to say, well, you only did it to get ahead? You only did it to utilize this. So now it might open a whole different conversation. So where we talk about lack of rights and lack of believability, these individuals that do this, are what foster it, because the conversations weren't had because no one wanted to have the difficult ones without trying to cancel somebody.
In seconds.
You can't do that. And, you know, when it came to doing things that other people can't, whether it was Simone Biles or the skater, no, you shouldn't ban the moves, except that they're exceptional at what they do. That's a whole different conversation. Stop trying to limit people who are good or great at what they do. That's why you create a thing. That's why you do a thing, because you excel. You wouldn't tell Wayne Gretzky not to be the best hockey player ever. No, he was the best. So you let him do it. Simone Biles, let her be the best. The skater, let her be the best. Acknowledge it, own it, suck it up. Oh, well, if people lose, you lost because this person could do the thing you can't do.
And they thought of something that hasn't been done before.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think I agree with what everybody here had to say. And I really hate this. I feel like the same thing as what you just said. It's okay. Like, there are certain things that need to be hashed out and discussed about how we're going to make everything inclusive. Okay, we want inclusivity. We want things to be accepted. Okay, so then how do we go about it? And I don't feel like we spend enough time discussing how to go about it. And then we're just accepting all the things. And then it poses certain problems and certain conflicts that we don't have worked out. And it becomes unfair in the end to everybody, really. So I think sometimes we just need to pull back and have these hard conversations about, okay, what lines are going to be drawn? How do we include everybody? This one girl, who I was at the bar talking about how we were going to discuss this for the podcast. And she was like, well, just do club sports, get rid of all competitive sports, just do club sports. And I was like, well, I need a moment to process that. I said, I'm not athletic.
All competitive sports.
That's what she does. She said, in order, as a way to include everybody with no drama, no problem, that everybody can play with one another, just do club sports. Don't do any kind of competitive
define this for me. You mean like bowling? Like, what do you mean?
Like, I guess make it like a club that you have at school, as opposed to, like, I don't know how, because I'm not athletic, so I don't know like how but that's what she kept saying, like, make it clubs.
Non-competitive.
So I guess it's like you're not.
Maybe contact sports. Does she mean contact sports?
No, she's like not separating it into competition, so it's not. I guess everybody's playing for fun, and then it's not separated by gender at that point. The boys are playing with the girls are playing with the boys, so
everybody gets trophy.
Wait, my time's up, but she was asking me about that, and I said I gotta process that. For me, it don't make me never mind, because I'm not athletic and I'm not really into sports. But and then also it reminds me of like the participation trophy kind of thing. Right. Like, everybody just gotta get sometimes you're just not gonna be
I was just thinking that.
And that's character building. Sometimes you're just not gonna be chosen. You can't do it. Like,
and you gotta dodgeball. Be able to lose. How do you know how to win if you never lose?
But my whole thing is just like what he did. Like, you moved from one sport, men's sport, to women's sport because you knew you could win.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? You don't see, there are some great, like, for those who don't watch women basketball, there are some great women basketball players that could most likely beat a lot of professional men basketball players, but they play in their sport. They didn't want to be like, oh, I want to come to the NBA. They made their own. They made the WNBA so women could play. Yeah, they make less than. And I think that would be the only reason why they would ever want to come over to men's sport basketball, because of the money. But you don't see where those women wanted to be a part of, like, say, oh, I'm going to change my gender and go play with the men. It always seems
you don't see it the other way very often.
Right.
It's kind of
at least not making it to the news.
Like they made their own football league. Like, they have their own women have their own football league.
But listen, even with this, when you talk about starting at a children's age, look at what they did to the Scouts. It went from being the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to just the Scouts. A lot of places did.
Right.
So they
no.
So
It's
you can
across
build
the
fires
board now.
and sell
across
cookies.
the board now. So
Yeah.
here's my thing. Where the Boy Scouts used to go out in the woods and do male bonding and just build stuff and know things as guys.
So
Just
women
learning.
did the same thing because I was in Girl Scouts.
Right.
We
So
did the same thing.
you built a bond with the girls, and that was a thing for you. It was a place for you to kind of grow as who you are.
I don't like these blurred lines anymore.
Right.
I just feel like you can't be an individual anymore. You have to be like,
You have to fit a group.
you have to fit in a box. So
Yeah,
There's more groups now than there was before.
Yeah.
There's always been categories.
Right.
Now there are so many more.
I think that it's a little sociopathic for him. I'm sorry. For, I guess, initially him being a him and then transitioning into a her, to go over into women's sports and win
Audrey.
and not have the least bit of empathy or reality, be in touch with reality and science, to be like, okay, yeah, I am taller than y'all, I am stronger than y'all, I am longer, lengthier than y'all. You right, here, just take this award. I feel like it's some sociopathic mentality a little bit.
But culturally, we've allowed it because we've allowed people to say they can be whatever they want to be. If you want to identify as a trash can,
if you feel you are, whatever you feel you are.
So like it's not even about being a female anymore.
Right.
You're cis, you're either cis,
asexual, cis,
or you're cisgender.
Yeah.
There is no more male and female.
Right. And it exists. We got to stop acting like genders aren't real. Like, stop that.
And it's real clear the differences. Real clear.
There are genders.
We just don't ignore them, right?
So like
real clear. I don't know about
my professor, right? I don't know. I probably told y'all this before. So my professor, when I had her a couple semesters ago, she's pregnant. And I asked, we were like, oh, it's really nice. So nobody asked gender, nothing. Nobody asked. So over the summer when we were going into my master's program, she was there. I was talking to her and I said, oh, you had the baby. What did you have? And she so calmly looked at me and says, we don't assign gender in our house.
But you had that baby though, right? Well, how come he ain't have it?
Right.
And I said, what? Like, I was confused. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, we let them assign their gender. So when they are old enough, they can let us know what they want to be. And I said, so what do you want me to call your baby? She's like, you call them they or them.
They or them.
How are they doing? That's what's wrong.
I gotta admit,
there's like
a grammar issue with that.
But it becomes an issue, Audrey.
Because they is plural.
Right. And then we're wondering why all these kids have multiple personalities. Because they are they.
There's an answer to
it's
that.
not just one of them. It's a whole bunch of them. Well, I want to be this person today, or I want to be that person today. So we collectively, y'all go over there and leave me and mine the hell alone, because we are one.
And that's the separation we have.
I got 2 girls. If you want to change your gender when you get old enough, by all means, that's on you. But God assigned your gender when you were born. Mm-hmm. So therefore, don't give me that nonsense. You're male or female. That's it. You can be whatever you want to be later on in life. But when you're born, male or female, yes, there are some kids that have blood
who are intersex, yeah.
But they choose what they want to be, and at birth anymore they give that choice to the parent.
But see, even letting a kid choose at adolescence or teenage doesn't make sense. First off,
brains aren't developed.
Right. At 7 years old, you don't know what the hell.
But who's to say they can't
a damn Power Ranger? All right, you don't know what you
can't choose then and then choose later.
You're right. Later.
Yeah.
But what about now and later? It's a whole candy.
Now is a problem for me because your brain is not developed.
You don't know what you don't even know what you are in general. You don't even know what you want to do with the rest of your life.
My nephew thinks he's Spider-Man.
And they may choose one thing one day, and then
stop
in 2 years
giving the choice before the choice is necessary. That's
and before you can have critical thinking skills to make a choice of such magnitude.
You say the choice is necessary, but so many things require that gender thing to be established very early on in life.
Okay, so here's my thing. If we're gonna start playing these games about choices, then it's 7 years old. Since you can tell me what you are, that means you understand how the world works. That means that if you do anything, you go to jail as an adult. It's 7 years old.
I'm still an astronaut.
No, if you can start choosing that young, then every single adult consequence falls on you at that age. Period.
No, that's not how that works either.
Why not?
I mean, if you're feeling out a thing, like say like you are interested in something as a kid and you explore that to the fullest, that does not necessarily mean that you're going to be the same thing as an adult. That does not detract from your experience as a kid either.
If I explore murder,
that's just like be my.
It's not murder.
I said if.
No,
that's not an identity. You don't show like, hey, we don't want to grow. I want to be a murderer.
No, I don't know. I've been watching a lot of Evil Lives Here at work. I've been watching that, and some of them have chosen murder at a very young age.
I know, I got you. You wake up and choose violence, but
I'm just saying,
if you ask a kid what they want to be when they grow up, and they tell you they want to be an astronaut,
that's different. That's
eventually they change their mind.
Exactly, and for that reason is why they shouldn't be choosing their gender.
Right. That's a profession. That's a whole different thing. We can change our profession right now as adults. That's not changing.
You can choose your gender as an adult.
Not the same. It's not the same.
It's not even that. B Mike, I'm looking at it this way. Like, so you're telling me that an 11-year-old laying down and having sex and having a baby, they know exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen.
Having a baby and the responsibility, that's not the same thing as a gender.
Let me ask you a question. Are you playing devil's advocate or are you sharing what you think? Because that's what we got. We got to find out where he's at with this. Are you playing devil's advocate or are you sharing what you really think?
I'm playing devil's advocate for the most part.
What did you say?
I'm playing devil's
I didn't hear
advocate
what you said
because I want to flesh out your thought process, make sure you're fully thinking of everything.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
If you're asking me 100% what I think about it, it's a little bit of both, because as humans, we tend to put things in categories for our own understanding of other people's decisions and actions. And that just helps us. That's what our brain does. We put things in categories to try to figure out what the fuck is going on. Whether it's gender or, whether it's any all the things that we encounter in life, your brain tries to interpret it based on previous experiences, which it puts into categories and tries to make sure it fits. Which is why we even have, are you gay or you straight? Are you LGBT? Like, where are you at? That's why there's so many letters to the LGBTQIA plus. The plus at the end is for all the shit that we don't even have a category for, that we don't have necessarily a definition for. So we try to do that. So when we do the gender thing, it's like, okay, you got to pick a category. You come out the gate, you got to fit into a box. Which one's your box? And then for anyone who says I don't fit into a box, we're like, you got to pick a box. And hey, I don't know if necessarily it's us that they should fit into a box, or if we need to get rid of boxes.
Listen.
All right. On that note, you got one more thing to say?
There's just one more, because we work the field, and we've had transgender when it was very new, and we had an individual.
It's always been there. It's not.
They're bits to people, and I'm like, oh, you.
That's what he's talking about is when they were making it okay for the whatever gender you were transitioning to, that you could be in the house without transitioning.
Yeah, and because all three of us worked in the teen shelter together.
Right. So we had an individual who was transitioning from male to female, and we didn't know where to put them. No. We didn't know where to put them in our boys unit or in our girls unit. So when I say very new, that's when it was okay at that point to be able to put them in the shelter of their gender that they are.
And it was very new to do it. And navigating that was difficult because yes, you identify as female, but you still had male parts, and you're an immature human being, and you would show said parts. And now we're like, listen, you identify, you can't do that. And it became issue. So it's the same thing where Lee said, if someone's in there with her child and they still got man parts and they shower because they identify, now there's questions that you have to answer that maybe you weren't ready to answer because that wasn't someone else's place to take your ability to parent your child away from you at this age. See,
let's petition to get rid of like group showers. That was horrible.
It's group sports. I mean, you shower. I mean, we're not dumb. We all went to high school. You can't tell me you didn't go to high school and you showered after.
Oh no, I got you. It still sucks.
It did suck. But I'm just saying, now you're adding these variables in, and you're telling parents that you have to have a conversation before. What if your kid isn't developed there, and that's not their worry? Now you have to explain, okay, this is what this is, and blah, blah, blah. And we're forcing kids to grow up faster than they need to, because
or even be comfortable with certain things, because you talk about changing clothes and someone going in the bathroom right after you, and you on your, it's all these things that go on.
We're missing the main point here. That's just like Caitlyn Jenner.
Mm-hmm.
She transitioned to female, but still likes females.
Mm-hmm.
So, and has man parts.
That happens.
So, and has man parts. So if this is the same, and that's how you feel, if somebody like that is in the shower now with your child,
mm-hmm.
and now it's like, okay, now we're experimenting.
Mm-hmm.
So a whole lot of things that are brought up, and we could spend the whole night talking about it. Least,
all right, but
what's your next topic?
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I got all the controversial topics.
No, you don't. We got some other stuff. That's why I'm timing us tonight, because